Cayden is your typical college student and a football player. During a heated game, a rival player's headbutt sparks a furious response, and Cayden reacts with surprising, almost superhuman strength. Later, in a passionate moment with his girlfriend, Lisa, he unexpectedly transforms into a werewolf, injuring her in the process. Horrified, Cayden wakes up to find himself covered in blood, surrounded by the dismembered bodies of his parents. Overwhelmed, he flees. Becoming a drifter, Cayden struggles to control his lycanthropy. One night at a roadside bar, he meets Wild Joe, another werewolf, who reveals the hidden world. Wild Joe explains there are two kinds of werewolves, one of which are purebreds, born into it, and the bitten, who become werewolves who can't pass it on. Purebreds like Wild Joe and Cayden come from ancient werewolf families that arrived with early settlers. Realizing he was adopted, Cayden learns from Wild Joe that he can uncover more about his true origins in a secluded town called Lupine Ridge. Cayden arrives in Lupine Ridge and heads to a local bar, where his presence stirs up hostility among the locals. He is immediately drawn to Angel, the stunning young bar owner. But the tension builds, and he's soon forced outside. There he meets John Tollerman, a farmer who offers him work as a farmhand. After some time working for Tollerman, Cayden returns to town one night and is confronted by a wolf from his own bloodline who warns him he's in grave danger. That wolf, who he considers a cousin, is then killed by Connor, the alpha werewolf Cayden had seen leading the group at Angel's bar. Later, Cayden and Angel witness Connor and his pack gruesomely devouring his cousin. John Tollerman reveals Cayden's true origins. His mother, Lucinda, was John's niece and also a werewolf. Connor, having been infatuated with Lucinda, disregarded tensions between the packs, forcing himself on her. Only John and his wife knew that Lucinda became pregnant, and she tragically took her life after Cayden's birth. The town's uneasy peace hinges on Connor's demand to mate with Angel, who he believes will bear him a son, unaware of Cayden's existence. Now in a relationship with Angel, Cayden wants to end this twisted arrangement, but the townspeople fear retaliation from Connor's mountain werewolves. Determined, Cayden confronts Connor in the mountains, revealing his true identity. Skeptical, Connor unleashes his wolves on him. Cayden fights off several, refusing to kill, but the sheer numbers overwhelm him, forcing him to make a daring escape by leaping off a cliff. Cayden and John put together a daring plan to take down Connor's mountain pack once and for all. However, before they can act, Connor abducts Angel, intending to forcefully mate with her to fulfill his twisted desire for an heir. Fueled by anger, Cayden goes on the offensive, skillfully fighting through Connor's wolves and killing two of the pack. He leads the remaining wolves into a trap, where he and John set off explosives that wipe out the rest of Connor's followers. In a climactic showdown, Cayden faces off with Connor in an intense battle of strength and skill. After a fierce struggle, Cayden manages to overpower Connor. As Connor lies defeated, he makes a shocking revelation. He and Cayden's mother, Lucinda, had been in love, but Connor invented the story of assault to protect her from her own family, who would have killed her if they knew of their relationship. At that moment, Wild Joe suddenly appears, revealing the full extent of his manipulation. He confesses that he orchestrated everything from the beginning, killing Cayden's adoptive parents and leading him to Lupine Ridge, all to get revenge on Connor for his own unresolved vendetta. With a brutal final act, Joe kills Connor. Enraged and disgusted by Wild Joe's betrayal, Cayden turns on him, ultimately killing Joe to end his twisted influence. With Connor defeated and Wild Joe's treachery exposed, Cayden decides to leave Lupine Ridge with Angel to explore the world and learn more about his heritage. Before he leaves, Cayden reassures John that they will return one day, hoping to honor the legacy of his family and help rebuild trust among werewolves. As a parting gift, John gives Cayden a scroll that details the bloodlines of the purebred werewolves, a powerful tool that will guide him to find others of his kind as he embarks on a new journey with Angel by his side. Wolves is a quirky addition to the werewolf genre, blending elements of horror, romance, and coming of age in a way that's hard to categorize. Directed by David Hayter, known as the voice of Solid Snake, the film draws loosely from Stephen King's style, but doesn't fully commit to either horror or soft supernatural romance, making it unclear who its intended audience is. Set in a tacky Americana-inspired small town, the story follows Cayden Richards, played by Lucas Till, a young man grappling with his werewolf identity while also dealing with his parents' deaths. This identity crisis leads him to Lupine Ridge, where he meets an odd cast, including Wild Joe, played by John Piper Ferguson, his paternal mentor John Tollerman, played by Stephen McHattie, and Angelina, played by Merritt Patterson, a fellow werewolf and love interest. While Wolves has some intriguing character dynamics, it misses opportunities to fully explore them. While Joe, who hints at a fascinating backstory, exits too soon. While Angelina's complex relationship with her mother is underdeveloped, Angelina is presented in a highly sexualized way that overshadows her otherwise strong, self-reliant character, making her more of a Maxim fantasy than an empowered lead. Meanwhile, Jason Momoa's performance as Connor, the film's antagonist, stands out, especially in one scene where he playfully embraces his villain role, delivering a performance that channels wild energy. However, his cartoonish style contrasts sharply with the rest of the cast's more subdued tones. Ultimately, Wolves struggles to find a consistent voice. It alternates between horror and romance, introducing graphic violence and sexual undertones that feel out of place in an otherwise traditional coming-of-age plot. Cayden's story of boy meets girl and fights for girl is predictable and lacks depth. Wolves is best approached with tempered expectations. While it doesn't bring anything groundbreaking to the genre, its oddball mix of tones and moments of charm make it a mildly entertaining watch. Thank you very much for watching the whole video. And if you have a movie or TV show that you want us to cover, just comment it down below. We'll make a video of it in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our playlist for more recaps.